Yes, Jesslyn, am I audible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So in the last class, Jesslyn, we completed it till mobility, and I said we'll practice 2 to 3 questions. So one was this question, the calculation of current density in a cylinder where the radius was given, outer portion of the wire was at a distance of r/2, and other was at a distance of r. One more question, let us practice in this only. Drift speed of electrons when 1.5 Look, this says drift speed of electrons when 1.5 ampere of current flows in a copper wire of cross-sectional area 5 millimeter square is V. So area is given to us, velocity is given, and N is given. Now it says what's the value of this V? What is it close to? See what all data do we have from the question. It says current of 1.5 amperes. So, okay. Then it says cross-sectional area is how much it's given? 5 millimeter square. So 5 into 10 to the power minus 3. In fact, this is millimeter square. So this becomes 10 to the power minus 6. When you write the area, this becomes 10 to the power minus 6 square. So current is there, area is there, drift velocity you don't know, that you have to find out. And it says the number density n is equal to 9 into 10 to the power 28. Now, Justine, can you connect the relationship that can help find out the value of this drift velocity?
I by NEA.
I by
NEA.
I by NE is equal to VT. Yes, very good. You are telling the formula for drift velocity, no? Correct, very good. See, our formula is I is equal to NEA/VD. From here, if I write the value of the drift velocity, which is given as V, V will be equal to I by NEA. Very good. So this is 1.5 divided by 9 into 10 to the power 28. Now, electronic charge is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19, and area is 5 into 10 to the power minus. So this much number in millimeter per second we have to get means you have to convert it into millimeter per second, because using this you will get the answer in meter per second. So this has to be converted. Okay, one more question we'll practice before moving on next. Please write it first.
Done, ma'am.
Just let me know once you're done.
Done, ma'am.
Okay, one more question. Let's practice. Okay, just incoming to this question. This is a wire of resistance R is stretched double to its length. You have to find out the new resistance. So when you have resistance and length, just go by this formula and always you'll get the correct answer. R is directly proportional to L square. Okay, whenever you have to find out the ratios. In the ratios, don't take out the values. No need to use this formula. R is equal to rho L by A. This is not a percentage question. For a percentage question, I've already told you in the class. What is this? Here, you're just finding out the change. Here, you're just finding out the ratio. So in ratios, basically the things cancel up, rho will be cancelled, area will be shifted. So whatever area will be there, it will be one more times in the denominator of its length. So when it goes up, it ultimately becomes L square. Directly, why not to directly use this formula? R is directly proportional to L square. Now see the initial resistances are, it says double to its length. Length becomes doubled to L. So when you're talking about the resistance, resistance is directly proportional to 2L square, which is equal to 4L square. Means if the length is increasing to 2 times, the resistance, which is directly proportional to the length, R is directly proportional to L square. So the new R dash, is directly proportional to 4L square. Hence, we can say the new R is equal to 4 times the old R. Yes, that's how the ratio will be. The new R will be 4 times. So option 8 is correct. Got it, Jasleen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, this formula is very simple and easy. One question, let's practice on the resistance and temperature part that we didn't practice. And then we'll move on to the next topic. Okay, please write it.
Done, ma'am.
See, this question says if the resistance of a conductor is 10 ohm at 50 degrees Celsius and 12 ohm at 100 degrees Celsius, then you have to find out the resistance at 200 degrees Celsius. Okay. So see, here we form two equations and then it will be solved because see, it says 10 ohm for 50 degrees Celsius and 12 ohm for 100 degrees Celsius. Then the resistance at 200 degrees Celsius is. So look, what we'll do for the 10 one, we know 10 ohm is the resistance given and 50 degrees Celsius is the temperature given, correct? But what we do not know is the resistance of the room temperature. So we have to assume it's something. Let's say the resistance of the room temperature is some R naught. So I'll also take this as some R naught. Let's say R naught is the resistance at the room temperature. Now, if this is the case, then 10 is equal to what's our actual equation, if you remember? Do you remember, Justine? The main equation. The actual equation R is equal to R naught 1 plus alpha delta T. This is the real main parent equation from here. And see, R naught's value we do not know. We'll have to find it. So for that, you have the information. We can say N is equal to R naught. Now 1 plus delta T is already given to you. Whatever will be the change in room temperature, it is saying as the resistance of a conductor is 10 ohm at 50 degrees Celsius and 12 ohm at 100 degrees Celsius. They have already given you the change in the temperature as 50 first. So this becomes 50 alpha. In the second case, it is giving 12 is equal to R naught 1 plus 100 alpha. So R naught and alpha will be the variables here. If you see these two equations, let me take the ratio of both of these. By taking the ratio, it will be very easy to get the value of alpha first, and then you can get the value of R naught. Once alpha, R naught are there, then calculation of the new resistance is very easy. So look, 12 is equal to R naught 1 plus 100 alpha. This was our first equation and this was our second equation. So we are dividing both of them. Divided by 10 divided by R naught 1 plus 50 alpha. R naught gets cancelled. This will be 1.2 or let's write it in terms. This will be 6 by 5. Then if I take it, 6 by 5 is equal to 1 plus 100. I'll have to take the cross multiplication. Now it cannot be reduced because here we are adding. This will be 6 plus 300 alpha is equal to 5 plus 5 into 100, 500 alpha. So 6 minus 5 is equal to 500 alpha minus 300 alpha. So 1 is equal to 200 alpha. Value of alpha is equal to 1 upon 200. This is the value of alpha. Now, once you know the value of alpha, you put it in any of the equations to get in the value of the resistance. Okay, let's put it in the value of this 10, first equation. This will be 10 is equal to R naught 1 plus 50 into 1 by 200. Instead of alpha, I'm putting the value. So this is 50 gets cancelled. This becomes 4. 1 plus 1 by 4. So 10 is equal to R naught. This is 4 plus 1, 5 by 4. Yes, this is equal to 5 by 4. So R naught is equal to 8 ohm. Now we have the value of R naught. So see, Justine, you have the value of R naught now. You have the value of alpha now. Now for any temperature that is given, you will be able to calculate its resistance, because basically you required the room temperature and the alpha that was missing from this question. What have we done? We have made two equations using those where R naught and alpha both were missing. So using them, we have calculated the value of alpha, we've calculated the value of R naught. Now using these data, we are going to calculate the value of the resistance at 200 degrees Celsius. Now see, for 200 degrees Celsius, nothing's new. See, finally, for 200 degrees Celsius, we can say R is equal to, this is the resistance at 200 degrees Celsius. R naught, that's 8. 1 plus alpha, alpha is 1 by 200, and delta T is also 200. Okay. 200 gets cancelled. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 into 8 becomes 16. So we can say 200 is equal to 8 into 2, which is equal to 16 ohm. So 16 ohm will be the final answer to this question. Did you get it, Justine?
Yes, ma'am.
Write it, then we'll start with something else. Please write it.
Done, ma'am.
Okay, now coming to the next topic. So these were the numerical streets, practice them, and rest of the questions are of the previous years that have exactly come in the neat paper that I have given you in the assignment. So please refer to the assignment. Now, talking a little bit about the battery, you know how the cell is constructed. This is a cell, one single cell, one single piece. This is known as a cell, and when many cells are attached to each other, like this. This is known as a battery. So you have cells, many cells are getting connected and they are forming a battery. So the cell will have its own EMF. EMF of the cell will be there. Now, what is the EMF of the cell exactly? We have already studied about the EMF. It's the potential difference across the battery. This is also the potential difference across the battery. But how is it different than from the actual potential that we have for a circuit? Difference lies in the fact that this is the potential difference when the current is not drawn, means when the battery is not being used. When it is not in use, then that's what we say. This is known as the EMF, means you will get the actual value of the potential difference of the cell. So EMF will be there, its internal resistance will be there. Now the resistance of this cell will be called as the internal resistance. Now these things we have already started, so that's why I've just written it very concise. You don't have to go into the detailings of it. But yes, Jesslyn, one thing is important here. The three cases which I discussed with you, one was the open circuit. These three cases are very important. Here again, it will come. Open circuit means current is zero and your potential difference is equal to EMF. This is an important point. Second is the discharging of a cell. Discharging means current is coming from the positive terminal, entering to the negative, coming out from the positive. So this is the discharging of a cell. Okay, and that you have is the charging of a cell. So this, when the current comes out from the negative terminal, that is the charging of a cell. Okay. From the negative, when the current comes out, this is the charging. So charging occurs after the current is completely lost. And we say V is equal to I minus ER. But in case of charging, we say V is equal to I plus ER. Okay, so these are the things that we have already studied. Write it, Jesslyn. Write them first. I'll discuss few more things. So please write them first. I'm just Yes, done, Jesslyn.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, when you have a simple resistive circuit with battery. Simple resistive circuit with with battery. So see, we know the formula of current is E divided by external resistance plus the internal resistance, and V is equal to IR, or we have the equation E minus I into small r. This is what we've studied. Now, sometimes in this, a topic comes efficiency of this circuit. Efficiency of this circuit. So efficiency means whatever supply is being given to the circuit, is it giving you the exact output or not? Or is there some dissipation in the form of heat? Because you know, wires get heated up. If even if you connect your laptop to a charger, the charger is very hot if you touch. Or in fact, the chargers of our mobile phones, they are also very hot once they are touched. So efficiency of a circuit means that you are supplying whatever is the supply to the circuit. Is it giving you exactly the same amount of current or not? Means whatever the current is coming into the circuit is exactly what the current giving you the output to your bulbs and the rest of the devices. So formula of efficiency, symbol of efficiency is this eta. It is always calculated in percentages. So formula is very simple. Capital R means the external resistance divided by the external resistance plus the internal resistance. This part you multiply it with 100. Efficiency 100% means your resistance will not be there. If I say small r is equal to 0, then look, r by capital R plus 0 into 100, which is equal to r by r into 100. So RR gets cancelled, which is equal to 100% efficiency. Because there is no obstruction in your path. There is no you can say there is no physical quantity that is existing in your circuit to disrupt the flow of the current. The current will flow very smoothly because whatever current is entering, it should be exactly present towards the terminal. It should be exactly reaching. So that is the case only possible when you have the perfect efficiency. Now, when we are talking about cells, one more thing, we have already talked about the cells connected in their combination. So for cells, we studied majorly two groups. We studied the identical cells and we studied the unidentical cells, identical and unidentical cells. And here also we have studied series, here parallel, here series, here parallel. So revise these formulas, these we have already done. But there's one thing that we haven't discussed. If the cells are wrongly connected, that can come in the exam, that has come in the exam. If cells are wrongly connected, so this also I'll tell you separately for series and parallel if the cells they are wrongly connected. Now look, let me start with the series then. If the cells, let me start with the series combination. Okay. Now assume some number. Let's say n minus m number. This is the number of the correct cells that are connected. Okay, n minus m. This is the correct cell. And m, if I say this is the incorrect one, means n number of cells are incorrectly connected and n minus m are correctly connected. So when you have such combination, the EMF of the cell, it will be n minus m times E. The EMF will be equal to n minus times E, while the internal resistance will be equal to small n into small r. This will be equal to small n into small r if they are connected wrongly in series combination. And if they are connected wrongly in the parallel combination. See, when they are wrongly connected, so R equivalent will be calculated as it is. 1 by R equivalent will be 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. But the EMF's value, E equivalent will be E1 by R1 minus E2 by R2 into the R equivalent. This is the formula for it. So you can directly remember the formula also. That will also help you. And I think in the series one, it's very easy to remember. Just you have to count the number of the cells that are incorrectly connected. So yes, Jesslyn, tell me, have you understood it till here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Please write down these as well.